For City Limits, their hook is we're three brothers. We grew up together, all in the same house, a family of 12 siblings, same mom and dad. That's their hook. That's still related back to their core values, the family being there, that love being there. And so that's how they hook people in intro. We've been singing together since we were 11 and we're 19 and 20 now. And we've been singing that's the hook. It brings people in. So that's their intro. And then, like we talked about, there's this middle part. You want to think about settings, talk about characters, and eventually you learn how to tell this story in different levels. You can tell it in 1 minute, you can tell it in 5 minutes, or you can tell it in a 30-minute interview. This becomes what you talk about when you do your interviews. These are the talking points you're going to want to push forward as far as your brand outside of what you may be promoting or marketing at the time. But you're talking about these core values, you're talking about this brand story. Then after you got the hook, you got the intro, you've laid the groundwork, you set the settings, you've introduced the characters. Then there's the middle portion, which is adversity and tension. That's the important part. And we've all had some adversity in life. If you pursue a career in the music business longer than 6 months, you've had some adversity, some things you had to go through. Here's the key. We talk about this in the Crave method a lot. The more vulnerable you can get with that part, that adversity and tension, the more relatability you will have. What this is about at the end of the day. My mentor used to say the best artists are the most relatable artists. They say what everybody is thinking, but is afraid to say. So you can really build that relatability and that connection with your audience in that adversity and that tension. For City Limits, their adversity, we came from nothing. 12 siblings, but we were sharing 2 bedrooms. Sometimes we didn't know how we was gonna eat. We got signed to Republic Records, but we still end up being upside down and on the label money without putting anything out. They're talking about these different adversities, and that's where we build this tension. That's where we build this adversity. And you need that because once we get to the conclusion to set up the resolution or the happy ending, that's what's going to really bring the dopamine about. And that's what's going to make people want to be a champion for you when your story is going to allow them to feel like they're a part of your journey. Now, I think that's the most important thing for an artist, to be able to bring your audience along with your journey throughout that process. And this is why I always tell artists, if you still figuring it out, you working 2 jobs and you doing this on the side, then let's talk about that. There's people that can relate to that.